A very good evening and welcome to this Saturday's edition of Newsfirst Weekend, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Those who are seeking political revenge are fulfilling their petty agendas through the people of the country. A statement from the President. Decision to support the common opposition candidate unanimously approved at the UNP Special Convention. Maithripala Sirisena says how he will govern the country after victory. Shots fired in the air in Pannala. One person assaulted. UNP Pradesh Sabha member in Palmadulla assaulted. Price of a domestic gas cylinder reduced by 250 rupees. Subject Minister says fuel prices were reduced in line with world market prices. This is something to trick the people for the elections, says trade unions.
The price of a 12.5 kilogram domestic gas cylinder has been reduced by 250 rupees. Thereby, according to the Ministry of Cooperatives and Internal Trade, the new price of a domestic gas cylinder would be 1,896 rupees. Meanwhile, fuel prices were also reduced with effect from midnight yesterday. We have a comprehensive report on the reduction of fuel prices later on in the news bulletin. President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that those who are seeking political revenge are fulfilling their own personal objectives through the people of the country. The President made this statement while addressing a meeting with those in the private bus sector today.
The official website of the National Transport Commission was launched by President Mahinda Rajapaksa. The Interprovincial Passenger Transport Company presented a token of appreciation to President Rajapaksa for the service rendered for private transport sector.
සමහරුන්ට නැවත ඕන වෙලා තියෙන ආපස්සට යන්න රටේ සංවර්ධන සමහරුන්ට වුණ වෙලා තියෙන යුද්ධය.
What some people want is to go back in terms of development. Some people want to bring this country back into the war situation. Today the LTTE wants to take revenge from us. They are waiting for that opportunity. So during an interview with Al Jazeera, it was mentioned that they are seeking political revenge to the people of the country. This is where it is heading to. These are the people that they are getting into agreements with. This is where they are different. So you should think about this. You must think as to what they are expecting through this. We must remember that the future of not only yours, but the future of your children and unborn children is yours and our responsibility. We are ready at all times to fulfill our duties on behalf of you.
ඉටු කරන්න අපි හැම වෙලාවෙම අපි සූදානම් වෙලා ඉන්න ඔබ වෙනුවෙන්.
Maithripala Sirisena, the opposition's common candidate, says that after being appointed president, he would administer the country from Polonnaruwa after reaching an accord with the leaders of the opposition. Sirisena made this comment while addressing a meeting in Polonnaruwa today.
A youth meeting was held in Polonnaruwa today under the theme Eka Ahasak Yata Eka Yayata Rata.
මම ජනවාරි 8 වෙනිදා ජනවාරි ධූරයට පත් වුණාට පස්සේ
When I become president on the 8th of January, I will not step foot into Temple Trees or the Presidential Secretariat. I need to state this fact clearly to you. King Vijayabahu ruled the country from Polonnaruwa. The great King Parakramabahu late united the country. Since then, there has been no leadership in Polonnaruwa. Come the 9th of January, that leadership will return to Polonnaruwa. If the political leaders of the political force that I represent agree, and if the political parties, groups and organizations that selected me to be their common opposition candidate agree, after my victory, I will administer this country from Polonnaruwa, which is my home.
Maithripala Sirisena also attended a public meeting at the Polonnaruwa election office.
More will come. Come tomorrow and the day after, more will come. There are some who will not come out, but will carry on with our task from within their walls. That is how I set up everything. Now ministers and MPs are weeping. They call me over the phone and inform me of the situation.
The common candidate also commented on the distribution of goods prior to the election.
Money cannot be used to deceive people. People cannot be pressed down by state power. On the 8th of January, it will be something between the power of money and weapons on one side and people power on the other. I represent people power. You might be aware of the goods that this government distributes in the villages.
The Presidential Media Unit has announced that the All-Ceylon Macro Congress, headed by Minister Rishad Badiuddin, has decided to extend their support to President Mahinda Rajapaksa at the presidential polls. Now, in a communique this evening, the Presidential Media Unit said that a delegation, including Minister Rishad Badiuddin, called on President Rajapaksa at Temple Trees today. A list of demands of the All-Ceylon Macro Congress was also presented to the President at the meeting. The President had emphasized that the people of the country had the right to follow any religion they please. The President had added that the government is committed to protect that right. The United National Party today unanimously agreed to be committed to ensure the victory of Maithripala Sirisena, the opposition's common candidate. The decision was reached during the UNP convention at the party headquarters.
Party seniors and a large number of UMPers were present for the convention in Sirikota this morning. MP Dr. Harsha De Silva opened the convention.
Over the past decade, the UNP has faced victoriously against all attacks and safeguarded it. I salute all those who brought this party to this level. I have one request. When we establish our government next month, I want to give everyone here priority. A government will not fall into our hands. We need to fight for that government. Therefore, we need to be committed to do work of 100 weeks for the next 4 weeks.
Subsequently, MP Joseph Michael Pereira made a proposal to the convention.
I wish to propose to this convention that all the forces need to come together to create a new political culture and also to be committed to support the election campaign of common candidate Maithripala Sirisena at the presidential election and ensure his victory.
This proposal was unanimously approved at the party convention.
We gather all common forces before. Now it's 2001 with 2010. We had a common candidate before. That was Sarath Fonseca. However, it is for the first time that we are supporting a common candidate who is the General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. That is where there is a difference. Their theme was hero or traitor. Now that is gone. This time is love or hate.
අපි අලුත් ගමනක් යනවා. නිර්හංකාර දේශාභිමානයෙන් යුක්ත වූ.
We have reached a new destination. We need to forget the past for a bit. We need to undertake a new journey. Little people who are humble and nationalist have stepped forward to contest the presidential election. The General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, who hails from a rural area like Polonnaruwa, who I too respect, has become a contender for the presidential election. Friends, everyone says to abolish the executive presidency within 100 days and to bring in the 19th Amendment to the Constitution for the establishment of an independent elections commission, an independent police commission, an independent state service commission and a bribery commission which will be vested with powers. Everyone speaks of the commissions for good governance. But remember, just like we ensure the political rights of the country, we will also need to ensure the people's right to live. If this government has a backbone, let them abolish the executive presidency within 100 days. At this moment, I need to announce that we need to have a backbone to provide relief to everyone within 50 days.
අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ජනවාරි මාසයේ 7 වෙනිදා ජයග්‍රහණය කළා. ඔබතුමාලා ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න අපි සූදානම් සිටිනවා කියන එක මතක් කරන්න කැමතියි.
On the 8th of January, we will definitely achieve victory with the people power. However, they only have the power of money and weapons. I kindly request you all to join together to protect democracy again, to open a new door, to change this dictatorial rule and create a Maitri rule. The United National Party will win on the 8th of January. I wish to say that you all will join in changing this country. To fulfill the responsibility that we have, we need to create an organization in the village. We are working together with a lot of aspirations. The UNP is the major stakeholder here. We will fight until the finish and achieve victory. I request you to provide the leadership in the villages.
Leader of the JVP, Anukumar Disanayake, speaking at a meeting in Kurunegala yesterday, said that everyone needs to come together to a program that goes beyond the end of a dictatorial rule.
Another phase of the series of the meetings on defeating the dictatorial rule, Unite for Democracy, took place yesterday.
We need to be thankful to Maithripala Sirisena for breaking free from the prison. The JHU has done a considerable amount of work with regards to the establishment of the executive power and the dictatorial attitude moving ahead. However, the group, including Venerable Ratana Thero, has also stepped out. We appreciate that. Although they call it the United People's Freedom Alliance, it has been ripped apart. There is one person who speaks for everything. It is sad to say that he is an old friend. That is all. Is there anyone else? They are like the frogs. No matter how far you throw them, they always turn back home. The force of 2005 and 2010 is no more. Come the 8th of January, the word defeat will be written on forehead. They are acting like this because of that. There is only one finish line that we need to cross come the 8th of January. That is to chase away this dictatorial rule. We have a far greater journey beyond that. We need to unite for that cause.
General Secretary of the JVP, Tilvin Silva, commented on the media briefing convened yesterday by a group claiming to have defected from the JVP.
Mahinda Rajapaksa has no allies now. So what happened? He has started to look for the garbage that is thrown out from the JVP and use them against the JVP. We wish to say to him that there is no point in doing so. The people in this country understand better. Therefore, do not look for garbage and trash and come to battle with us. There is absolutely no point. We will not come for such battles. They look at persons who have no decade experience in politics and say that the JVP must support Rajapaksa. So where were they over the recent past? Is this how bankrupt they are? It is sad. If they want, we could have found some people for them.
With the presidential election just over a month away, the political arena is intensifying. Here are some of the views expressed by some politicians.
Within 100 days, we will first create good governance. After 100 days, we will establish an all-party government, and that will be the first national government in Sri Lanka. Decisions of ministerial positions will be taken by the advisory committee. The chairman of the advisory committee may be a leader of the JVP. We will include all of them from every party into the government system. Like this, we will govern this country together under the rule of Maithripala Sirisena and Ranil Wickremesinghe for 2 years and fulfill all the promises that were made. But it won't be easy. No leader is ready to give up power and leave like giving charity. We have to take it. Power means something that you should claim and not inherit. Remember that. We must maintain this peaceful environment. I am aware what will happen to this country if this changes. Those who want this change the most were foreign forces who created instability in our country. Just try taking this country back before 2009 and hand over power to various people. and you will see that there will be a major political instability and cause problems in our day-to-day lives. We do not want to go there. What this country needs at this point of time is a new political culture. The people of this country are most certainly aware that this government is only functioning via the means of corruption, fraud and thievery. Today cutouts are put up from junction to junction, and the people know that these cutouts haven't been put up with their own personal money. So therefore I propose that we put up a hoarding that reads, "These are posters courtesy of the people's money." Because it is the people's money. We will show the entire country in about 2 to 3 weeks how those in the United National Party will join us in flocks. This is not just talk. They would just say one thing. They would say that this is something being done to get votes. Yes, it is true. After obtaining the votes of the UNP, it will be goodbye. That is what will happen. But the people are smarter than that. What do the majority say? They'd rather vote for the original Mahinda Rajapaksa than the duplicate SLF peer.
ඔරිජිනල් මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයාට ඡන්දයක්. දැන් මැතිවරණය කිට්ටු වෙනකොට මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයේ ලේකම්වරයා, නියෝජ්‍ය අමාත්‍යවරයා සියලුම.
With the election looming closer, the Secretary to the Ministry of Finance and its Deputy Minister are dropping the prices of kerosene oil, diesel and basic items. And once the person who wins the powers of the executive presidency, all of those prices will be turned against the people. This would not happen if the sorrows and hardships of the people were identified. These are things done to deviate the people. They're trying to bring forth the 450-year-old dream of an imperialist rule back again at a time when we are trying to stand on our own 2 feet and at a time where those who are vouching for the glorious President Mahinda Rajapaksa. They once brought Fonseca for this, and now they have put forward Maithripala Sirisena. They're trying to shake this down, but the people weren't shaken up by this, as it was proven by the answer, which was given with 180,000 votes last time. I heard the president saying recently that he is ready to box, but there is no one in the ring. Now an opponent boxer has come into this ring. A farmer from Polonnaruwa has come with his mammoth into the boxing ring. Now we will see who will win this fight. Although he is good at the sport of boxing, he should realize that it is a farmer from Polonnaruwa who has entered this boxing ring with a mammoth. So we will wait and see who will triumph in this fight.
TNA parliamentarian Suresh Premachandran says that the party will take its final decision with regard to the presidential election after nominations are called. And he made this statement while addressing a meeting convened by the EPRLF party in Vavuniya today.
The TNA is yet to make a decision. The party is scheduled to convene another meeting in due course. The accepting of nominations is on the 8th of this month, and after the nominations are called, the TNA will convene. A final decision on where the party stands on the presidential election will be taken at this point. The TNA has more time, so therefore we will carry out discussions with those relevant and then come to a final decision. Meanwhile, speaking further, MP Premachandran expressed the following views.
There need to be abolished the executive presidency. We know that there is a corrupted government. We know that there is a family rule. All these things must be abolished. We understand that. But at the same time, the Tamils are facing different issues, special problems. Still, hundreds of thousands of people still could not go back to their own land. We would like to know from the contestant, what are their attitude towards these problems? There are hundreds of political prisoners. They are there for last 10-15 years. You see? So we are facing special issues even after the war. Even after 5 years of war, these people are still in camps. We are citizens of this country. We want to live as equals in this country. So we want, answers from these contestants.
Secretary of Defence Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that the foremost threat to Sri Lanka's national security is a possible re-emergence of terrorism. He made this statement while speaking on national security at an event held at the auditorium of the Organisation of Professional Associations in Colombo yesterday.
Despite the end of the war 5 years ago, the foremost threat to Sri Lanka's national security remains the possible re-emergence of terrorism, whether it is LTT or any other group. Extremist elements within the expatriate Tamil population, together with the LTT's vast international network, remains committed to this cause even to this day. They continue to fund political groups promoting the separatist ideology in the democratic mainstream, and they continue to try and restart armed conflict within the country. Although the government has successfully foiled all the attempts by the rump of the LTT to resume violence in Sri Lanka, it has to be admitted that some efforts of LTT-linked groups have been successful to a certain extent in the international arena. Although the presence of military has been greatly reduced, military camps need to remain in the key locations, and intelligence services need to remain constantly at work to guard against the re-emergence of organized violence terrorist groups.
Welcome back. You're with News First. International Volunteer Day, which coincided with the closing of the cycling tour 2014, was held yesterday under the theme Make Change Happen, Volunteer. The event took place at the auditorium of the Disaster Management Centre in Colombo and saw the participation of government and UN bodies. News First was the official media sponsor of the event.
International Volunteer Day 2014 recognizes and celebrates volunteerism with a special focus on honoring people's participation in making a difference at all levels, locally, nationally and globally. This year's theme underlines the ability of volunteerism to help create open spaces for dialogue and inclusion, ultimately fostering the participation of people from all age groups, genders and backgrounds in decision-making processes.
By engaging at the grassroots level, volunteerism helps build a more inclusive society as we draw closer to 2015 and post-Millennium Development Goals, and as the United Nations prepares to shape a new vision for sustainable development. These words on volunteerism and that we all collectively can shape a new and better future becomes so much more meaningful.
St. Benedict's College, Colombo, a Catholic educational institution managed by the De La Salle brothers since 1865, will be celebrating its 150th Jubilee in 2015. The launch of the series of programs, which will commence with the Benedictine Walk on February 7, 2015, took place last evening at the Old Ben Sports Club in Colombo. A distinguished gathering, including fraternity, past pupils and others, was present for the event, which also saw the unveiling of the official merchandise of the walk.
And we thank you for the last 150 years for working with As students, you are not able to come to this place.
More news related to the upcoming presidential election. 2 incidents of election violence were reported from Pannala and Palmadula today.
A certain group had shot in the air and had assaulted an individual in the Waguruvela area in Pannala, Nikavarathiya. A certain group who arrived in a van had cut down decorations at the Pannala junction last night. According to our correspondent, when the people from a nearby house came out, the group who arrived in the van had fired shots in the air and fled the location after damaging the house.
They were cutting down the flags. We came out when we heard the noise. When they saw us, they reversed the van and 4 or 5 persons with guns came running. Then they fired about 4 shots in the air, standing here. They also assaulted the boy who was here. They shouted in profanity and told us to close the doors. They kicked the bike that was parked here and kicked the door too. Then my little one started crying. Then they went away.
The number was covered with a white cloth. It was white. They fired shots. Then they kicked this door. Police said that the individual who was injured in the incident was admitted to the Kandhanegedara hospital. Police suspect that around 5 to 6 individuals had carried out this assault. The suspects have not yet been identified. Meanwhile, UNP Pradesh Sabha member has been assaulted last night near the Palmadulla clock tower while he was engaged in decorating. According to our correspondent, the injured Pradesh Sabha member was admitted to the Palmadulla Divisional Hospital. When I was returning home at around 12 last night after putting up party flags in the Palmadulla electorate for the party convention, the chairman of the Pradesh Sabha along with 6 of his aides attacked me with iron poles. I have 8 stitches on my head. After doing all this, how can he come and speak to me in the morning? When contacted, the chairman of the Pradesh Sabha, Lakshman Premaratna, had this to say with regard to the allegations. I was not there at that location when President Mahinda Rajapaksa's flags are being cut down. When he is being harmed, we need not fight. It is people who attack. Once too, I had to take the said member to hospital and save his life. Just because they give our names to fulfill some personal agendas, provincial councillors or the chairman need not attack those who come with green or blue flags. It is the people in the area that attack such persons. I did not attack the person in question.
3 individuals in Monaragal have died after they consumed illegal liquor. According to the police media unit, another 4 individuals who consumed illegal liquor have been admitted to the Sirikala hospital in Monaragal in serious condition. The police are carrying out further investigations into the incident. Taking a look at business news now. The government slashed fuel prices to reflect falling global oil prices. Accordingly, the government has reduced the price of petrol and diesel by 7 rupees per litre, while price of kerosene has been reduced by 5 rupees per litre.
A 92-octane litre of petrol which was sold at 157 rupees will be sold for 150 rupees, while the price of a litre of 95-octane petrol which was sold for 165 rupees has been reduced to 158 rupees. According to the latest price revision, the price of a litre of normal diesel has been dropped to 111 rupees from 118 rupees, while a litre of 4-star diesel has been reduced to 135 rupees. The new price of a litre of kerosene that was sold at 86 rupees will now be 81 rupees. We received reports that there was a fall in global oil prices. However, you do not receive the benefits of the price fall spontaneously. It is only after 2 or 3 months since the fall in prices that we will receive fuel for that price. We need to take into account the nature of our order and the quantity of it, as well as the stability of the order. So we decided starting from midnight yesterday to reduce the prices. Price of a barrel of crude oil in the global market dropped from $115 to $69 during the past 5 months, similar to the plunge in oil prices over 5 years ago. When oil prices plunged to a low in the world market 5 years ago, a litre of petrol in the domestic market was sold at 115 rupees. During the same time period, the price of a litre of diesel was 73 rupees and a litre of kerosene was sold at 51 rupees.
We
do not see this as a price reduction. This is a failed attempt to deceive the public ahead of the polls. According to the world prices, what should the prices be of what we purchase from the world market and the Singapore market? According to the present situation, there should have been a drastic price reduction over the past 3 months. The CPC could have made changes for 17 rupees and made all payments. There will be no issue even if the government imposes a tax of 25 rupees because a litre of petrol could be sold at 120 rupees while a litre of diesel can be sold for 107 rupees.
බොරතෙල් බැරල් එක මිල 140කින් අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා. බදු ප්‍රමාණය ඒ විදිහටම තියාගත්තත්
The price of a barrel of crude oil has plunged by 40%. If you keep the taxes, only 4% has been reduced. What happened to the remaining 36%? When oil prices started to fall, what did the government do? The government entered into a long-term accord with ENOC. They were blacklisted. Now they have reached an agreement with ENOC for 1 year for a higher price. When the time is right to provide people with a relief, they're extorting all the money without providing the people with relief. They're using them for the elections.
ජනතාවට සහනයක් ලබා දෙන්න හැකි අවස්ථාවේදී සහනය ලබා නොදෙමින් ඒ සල්ලි ටික ජනතාවට ලැබිය යුතු මුදල් ප්‍රමාණය කාබාසිනියා කරන ඡන්ද වැඩවලට පාවිච්චි කරන තියෙනවා.
මේ මිල අඩු කරා කියලා
Can a three-wheel driver reduce his fares simply because of the price reduction? Will bus fares drop? Will train fares drop? When fuel prices can be reduced by 25, 20 or even 10 rupees, they are reducing the prices by 7 and 5 rupees. This will not benefit the people. Only businessmen and those in the government who pay high interest rates will receive a benefit from this. This is not a benefit that was given aiming at the presidential election. Elections take place in other countries too. We have a responsibility to reduce prices whenever we can. If we do not increase prices when it does, we would not be able to provide relief when it reduced. I think it is for a good time that this plunge in the world market has taken place.
The Pathfinder Foundation has compiled a series of economic policies to be provided to the presidential election candidates. Executive Director of the Foundation, Lakshman Sirwardhan, said that the policies will be presented to the candidates in the near future.
The trilingual economic policy is compiled under the theme All Towards Samruddhi, the Future Journey.
The reforms seek to address a number of strategic issues which confront the country. These include how does one transition from a growth model which is currently driven by commercial borrowing-led infrastructure development to one that is FDI-led export-oriented. In order to achieve this, the blueprint incorporates a range of reforms across a number of sectors. It starts by emphasizing the importance of maintaining strong, robust macroeconomic fundamentals, and then goes on to address a number of structural issues which cover the three-factor markets, land, labor, and capital. It looks at SME development, it looks at FDI-driven exports, it looks at increasing agricultural productivity, enhancing the efficiency of public service delivery and SOE reform, and it also explores how one can design effective and well-targeted social protection programs.
One of the slogans of this government has been that it is an anti-privatization government. As the Deputy Minister of Finance, is this a realistic slogan?
More strategically viable way to use the best of both worlds.
Integrated resorts with gaming facilities, is that still happening?
Economic growth is not something that falls from the skies. Sometimes you have to take difficult decisions.
Today marks Unduwap Full Moon Poe Day, a day where many significant incidents in the Buddhist history took place.
The chronicles say that it was on a day like today that Sangamitta Therani brought the right branch of the Jayashree Mahabodhi tree that provided shelter to Lord Buddha to Sri Lanka. Chronicles also say that the Bhikkhuni Sasana, or the Order of Buddhist Nuns, was established on a day like today. The annual Shripada season will begin with the Udva Full Moon Poe Day today. The sacred relics and objects were placed at the Mahamalwa on the Shripada Peak to mark the beginning of the offerings to the relics of Buddha placed in the shrine room. The carrying of the relics and sacred objects commenced in a procession from the Galpot Tawala Rajamaha Vihara in Palmadula yesterday.
Taking a look at business news this evening, captain of the Sri Lankan cricket team, Angelo Matthews, says that there is an issue with the team bowling department. He made this comment while addressing a media briefing today on the team's readiness for tomorrow's game.
The fourth ODI of the 7-match series between Sri Lanka and England will be played as a day encounter tomorrow at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo. Speaking to reporters today, captain of the Sri Lankan cricket team Angela Matthews said that as there is no other alternative, special attention will be focused on the use of spinners for tomorrow's game.
Especially මේ රටේ ක්‍රීඩා කරනකොට අපේ strength එක ඇවිල්ලා spin එක. ඉතින්
when we play at home, our strength is spin. When we bowl the last few overs, we face an issue. I believe our best bowler is Mendes. I am aware that he did not perform well in the previous game, but he performed well in the first and second ODIs. He bagged 5 wickets in 2 matches.
දෙවනි තරඟ දැක්කොත් ඔහු තමයි මම කඩලු පහක් පමණ මේ මැච් දෙකට ලබාගත්.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan and England cricket teams took part in a program organised for the underprivileged children in Colombo. The event took place at the R. Premadasa Stadium today and was organised in lieu of the 25th anniversary of UNICEF. This was organised together by UNICEF, Sri Lanka Cricket and the ECB and was aimed at promoting the right to sport for children.
Well, tennis fans are all set for a showdown as Grand Slam winners like Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic will be playing for the first time in India at the third leg of the inaugural International Premier Tennis League. IPTL brings together current champions, tennis legends and upcoming talent together at one platform. It is the first city-based professional league in the world played across 4 countries to fulfill the increasing demand for top-level tennis in Asia.
It's an honor for all of us, I think, to be in the same team as Roger, and we're really excited that Roger's coming, and we've been doing really well, so it'll obviously add to it, and personally for me, it's a great privilege to be playing with him if that happens.
Jose Mourinho shrugs off talk of breaking Chelsea's club record of 23 unbeaten matches, saying, quote, "I don't care about records," unquote.
I'm not looking for records. I'm looking for points. Victories and points. And if possible, in the end of the season, titles. I'm not looking for records.
But the weight of those things and the result of those things is record, isn't it?
It's a consequence of that, but as I was saying, I'm not worried with that. We just want to win the next match, and that's all.
And Danny's showing some capability as a coach.
Let's try tomorrow.
Why is that?
Because it's difficult. It's a difficult stadium to play. Because there are a few stadiums in this country where clearly when they see the Chelsea shirts, they make the game of their lives. And when they play against other teams, they look like they're playing friendlies. But maybe this is because Chelsea in the last decade become a strong team that everybody wants to beat.
The state prosecution's appeal against South African track star Pistorius' culpable homicide conviction and 5-year prison sentence will be heard in a Pretoria court next Tuesday.
Pistorius was sentenced in the negligent killing of his girlfriend Riva Steenkamp after the state failed to convince Judge Tokosela Masipa that he intended to kill when he fired shots through a locked toilet door at his luxury Pretoria home. Prosecutors are challenging Judge Tokosela Masipa's interpretation of the law. They need to convince her another court could reach a different verdict, and they believe the appeal had reasonable prospects of success. The decision by Pistorius' team to oppose the appeal means Judge Masipa will have to hear arguments from both sides, which will take more time than a regular appeal procedure. The Olympic and Paralympic athlete whose lower legs were amputated as a baby killed Steenkamp on Valentine's Day last year by firing 4 9mm rounds into the door of a toilet cubicle in what he said was the mistaken belief that an intruder was hiding behind it. Masipa's decision to rule out murder was criticized by legal professionals and Women's League of the African National Congress as an erroneous interpretation of the law. Other lawyers said her verdict was sound. If the appeal is successful, Pistorius would face a minimum of 15 years in prison.
Taking a look at another one of our local stories, the 2015 presidential election is almost a month away and 18 candidates have placed their bonds to contest the presidential poll. The nominations will be handed over on Monday the 8th of December.
As announced by the Election Secretariat, incumbent President Mahinda Rajapaksa has placed his bond as the presidential candidate for the United People's Freedom Alliance. Former Minister Maithripala Sirisena placed his bond under the New Democratic Front ticket. Venerable Battara Sila Ratana Thero placed his bond from the Janasita Perumuna, while MB Thamini Mulla contested for the Okkuma Vasio Okkuma Rajavaru organisation. The Socialist Equality Party has named Pani Vijayawardena as its presidential candidate. Siritunga Jayasuriya, the leader of the United Socialist Party, as well as Janta Kulatunga from the United Lanka Great Council have placed their bonds for the 2015 poll. Meanwhile, Vimal Ganage will contest for the Sri Lanka National Front. Meanwhile, independent candidates Chaminda Anuruddha Polgampala and I.M. Ilyas have also placed their bonds for the presidential poll. Meanwhile, Nishta Muhammad Mishla contests for the poll under the Eksat Sama Peramuna. Duminda Nagamu contests for the Frontline Socialist Party for the 2015 polls. S.P. Liyanage will contest under the Sri Lanka Labour Party ticket. Sundaram Mahendran will contest under the Navasama Samaja Party, and Prasanna Priyankara will contest under the Democratic National Movement. Meanwhile, Attorney-at-Law Ajit Rajapaksa has placed his bond to contest for the Ape Jatika Peramuna. Vatnayaka Arachige Sirisena will contest from the Patriotic National Front, while Sarat Manavendra will contest for the Navasihala Urumaya. A special discussion was held today between the candidates, representatives and the Election Commissioner on protocol that needs to be followed since nominations are handed over on Monday. The Election Secretariat announced that once nominations are handed over, it would be against the law to engage in parades. The Election Secretariat announced that apart from the candidate, only the party General Secretary and another individual can enter the